All right. Welcome everybody. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Welcome everybody. My name is Egias Mira Bontebal, and I'm a teacher at the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam, and I'm the director of these minor, CSBB for short. And then maybe Joanna, Nema, and Victor, you can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Johanna. I'm the program coordinator for the minor and for the nanobiology program. And I work mostly at TU Delft. I live in Leiden. I'm at Erasmus Medical Center pretty regularly.
Hi, and I'm Emma, and this is Victor, and we are nanobiology students, and we help with the development of this minor. So we have student insights into the minor. So if you have any student-related questions, just let us know.
You can ask them. Perfect. So what I would like to do is maybe share my screen and give you a small presentation of what the minor is and how we've built it. So 1 second. There you go. There you go. You should be able to see it now. So this is a new minor. It's called the Collaborative Science for Biomedical Breakthroughs. And in it, you will learn transdisciplinary skills, you will do research, and you will also explore new ideas. And this is not a random choice of words, because it also makes an LDE here, as you can see here, because our minor is an LDE minor. So what this means is that it's a Leiden, Delft, Erasmus minor, basically. So students from these 3 universities can join. And for the first round, we want to keep a cap of 36 students because we want to keep it relatively small for now to see how things go. And the idea is to have students from many different backgrounds. So if you come from a non-biology background, that is also very good. If you come from a biology background, like some of you are, or biopharmaceutical, that is also very good. And because no prior experience is necessary. So we want to invite any student who wants to come. The idea is that we want to put students, and I'll come back to that in a minute, we want to put students from many different backgrounds to work together in this minor. So it's a selection minor, meaning that you have to, I think you have to subscribe between the 3rd and the 16th of April, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And because it's a selection minor, we also want to reserve some spots for nanobiology students. Actually, it's the other way around. Because we want to reserve some spots for the nanobiology students in medicine and clinical technology, we put it as a selection minor.
There's no criteria.
There's no criteria.
Other than what program you're in.
Correct.
It's just a lottery. So don't be afraid.
Exactly. So there is no criteria. You can come in. You don't need to submit a letter or like yeah, it's just subscribe basically. And the minor takes place between the Erasmus Medical Center and the TU Delft, so between Delft and Rotterdam. And the topic next year will be integrative neuromedicine. So the reason why we've chosen this topic, I'll explain. You probably haven't heard about it, but or maybe yes. The TU Delft and the they are converging, and this is called convergence. And what within this convergence, they are big projects that have been given money, or that have been given money. And in these projects, you have people working from the 3 different campuses, from the TU Delft, from the Medical Center in Rotterdam, and also from the from the University of Rotterdam campus, which is another campus in Rotterdam. And there's different topics for these different, what we call flagships. And we chose integrative neuromedicine because we thought it was pretty interesting for our first round of the minor. And within it, what we want to actually, what the integrative neuromedicine flagship is about is they want to study neurodegenerative disorders from the molecular level to the societal level, but also from birth to death. So if you're a biologist and you want to study, for example, DNA modifications and how that impacts a disease development, that is really cool. But if you want to properly integrate all of this with people from, if you want to have a very different perspectives to actually come up with new solutions to problems, it's better if you have people working from, it's better if you also work with people from different backgrounds. So that's why we also want to keep it as heterogeneous as possible. And so this is basically this will be the overarching topic, integrative neuromedicine. But then within these umbrella, basically, you will be able to select different subtopics that the group is interested in, or no, sorry, that you are interested in, and then you will be put with other students to work on this. And I'll explain that a little bit more further later. And so the topic, the content basically will be integrative neuromedicine, but there's going to be a lot of also where you will develop your professional skills, your durable skills that we call it. And we have created these 4 different threads, we call them: collaboration, communication, research, and reflection. So you will develop your collaboration skills, how to work with peers, with other groups, with the stakeholders, outside stakeholders, with people from different disciplines and backgrounds. You will also learn how to communicate, either by making posters or by writing a report. But you would also learn what it means to become a good researcher, actually. What do you need to become a good researcher? You will develop strategies for understanding the problem and designing inquiries. And here, finally, we wrote reflection because it's pretty important to reflect on ourselves, but also on the role of research in the world. What does it mean to do research, actually? How do you communicate knowledge and the effects of collaboration to other people? So the topic will be integrative neuromedicine, but there's going to be these threads happening through the minor, where you will learn also about collaboration, communication, research, and reflection. The structure is we will have small groups of 5 to 6 students, and 36 students is a cap, so that will be maximum 6 groups of 6 students. And the minor is actually split into two parts. The first part is the first 10 weeks, which is 15 credits, and the second 10 weeks, which is the second 15 credits. But during the first 15 credits, you will develop a deep understanding of the subtopic. So you would have chosen a subtopic that you really like. You will be put with different students, and then you will, within those 10 weeks, you will study the subtopic. You will not be provided a question or a problem. I mean, you will be given a presentation by stakeholders and by experts who will come and explain what is the status in their field. For example, a molecular biologist, they say, hey, we are worried about these DNA molecule, these mutation, because these leads to this and this and this and that. But also somebody like a philosopher who will come and talk about neurodegenerative disease from a more philosophical point of view. So what does it mean to have a neurodegenerative disease? What is it to have a healthy brain? What is a healthy brain? These type of questions. And you will be able to choose among these different subtopics and develop your own questions and your own problems. So basically, we call it student-led, in the sense that you will be able to just make your choices on what you and which direction you want to take within your group. With your group. And then during the second part, so the first part is more about studying these problem and making maybe a research proposal also. But the second part is more about trying to answer the questions, so trying to come up with solutions with that. And that might bring you to a lab where you will be able to maybe to do experiments in a laboratory with your group, in laboratories of some of the supervisors, and I'll come back to that in a second. Or maybe not, because depending on which topic you choose, you might be able to work in a lab, or maybe not. And then along this entire process, you will be supervised by what we call a supervisor, which is a PI or a teacher, basically. And you would also have a PhD or postdoc coach. So there's two things. There's a supervisor and there's a coach. And the coach is more it will be more present on a daily basis. So if you have some questions that you want to ask, small questions, then the coach will be able to help you. But the supervisor will be able to give you a bit more guidance, or providing you what we call guarding rails, so that you don't go off topic too much, basically. And then at week 10 and 20, we will organize big symposia where all the groups are invited, all the supervisors are invited, the stakeholders, even your families, if you're interested, if they are interested in the topic. So you will be able to give to provide the results of your last 10 weeks studies, basically, with a poster. So, and this is what I wrote here, what we wrote here at the bottom, there is no final exam. So the grade will will depend on different things, on your presentation at this symposium, also on the presentations to your supervisor, maybe a reflective portfolio, these type of things. So there is no final exam that you need to pass or not pass. So that's not the case here. The structure of the week is pretty simple. On Mondays and Wednesdays, you have lectures and workshops where you will learn about these transdisciplinary skills that we were talking about before. So how do you communicate? How do you make a poster? How do you interview a stakeholder? How do you manage data? How do you deal with reproducibility? How do you deal with ethical questions in research? And during Tuesdays is more of a free time, no, not a free time, sorry, but it's more free time for you to do research on the topic, on the subtopic. And then on Thursdays, you will meet with the supervisors in the afternoon for an hour to summarize how things are going during the week. What did you find? Are we going in the right direction? Should we investigate this, or should we go in the other direction, etc.? And then on Friday, you will have there will be a symposium in the afternoon where all the groups are put together, and the supervisors will also be present. And actually, that's quite important because in this way, you will be able to collaborate within your group about one of these subtopics, but also with the other groups. So in this way, we bring all the different subtopics under the integrative neuromedicine. We will bring them together each week on Friday afternoons. And then in there, you will pitch what have we managed to do this week, what are our plans for next week, etc. And actually, these symposiums that were born, I mean, we thought about these symposiums that they were a really good idea because this minor was born from the Corona Research Super Project, which is a project that was developed by the nanobiology program during when COVID started. So all the students that could not go to work in laboratories because of COVID, the CRSP was created where we put students together from different backgrounds to do collaborative learning, and it was very successful. People liked it, and that's why we decided to also create this minor. And one of the important things that they also liked is this Friday symposium where all the groups come together and they learn from each other. Basically, they collaborate. And another important thing I didn't say before, this you will collaborate, and actually these, because yeah, sorry, I'll rewind. What I didn't say is that by doing this collaboration with other groups, you will generate new ideas that the flagship or the people from integrative neuromedicine will be able to use. So you will work on real science and provide new ideas for them to use within their flagship to bring this forward, basically, their research forward. And so the teaching staff, I'm here at the top, the director, the first line here, then Joanna was also here in the conversation. We also have different teachers who are experts in their fields, in the sense, Dimfna, for example, in research, Eva in collaboration, Martijn in communication, etc., etc. And then we will also have a set of supervisors and PhD students or postdocs that will coach and supervise you during the weeks. And I think that was more or less a little bit of a summary. And oh yes, and I wanted to say, if you want to subscribe, if you want to come here, you should subscribe between these dates. So don't forget that, because it's a selection minor, it's only open earlier than the rest of the minors. So that's it. Oh no, and I forgot one of the most important slides, which is where we have here Eva and Victor, who are also in this meeting now. So basically what we wanted to exemplify is this could be you, for example, where you're working with other students thinking about, hey, how do we move our subject forward while learning about these different transdisciplinary or collab. Do you have any questions? Was it all clear? Hey, Susan. Thank you.